When I am making a case for the pro-life view, and I have established the humanity of the unborn by appealing to science, which says that the unborn is unquestionably living, distinct, wholly human from the moment of conception, oftentimes I will reach the point where I get a different challenge. The person might look at me and say, well, I know that it's human, but it is not a person yet. So they're making some kind of distinction between what are mere human beings and what are human beings that have achieved this new status of personhood, or human beings who are deserving of rights or who are valuable enough to be counted as members of the human community. So here, we're not in the field of science anymore. We've crossed over into philosophical waters. And the question that we're really dealing with, what is it that makes human beings valuable? In other words, is there some kind of morally relevant difference between a human being in utero and a human being who is born that would make it okay to kill the human being who is still in the womb? The answer is no, there isn't. Stephen Schwartz is a philosopher who says that human beings are intrinsically valuable. That means valuable in light of the kind of thing they are. They're not valuable like an instrument, which would be a helpful way to remember what I call functional value or instrumental value. Instruments perform in a certain way. You use them for a purpose. So when someone brings an answer to the question, why are human beings valuable, that deals with a trait or an attribute or an ability, they are giving you an instrumental answer. Stephen Schwartz says that there is no instrumental difference between the unborn and the born, or me sitting here right now, that would have made it okay to have killed me when I was at that earlier stage of development. The only differences you can even point out between embryos and us are that they are smaller, so size, they are less developed, level of development, they are located in a different place, that's environment, and they have a greater degree of dependency. So degree of dependency makes our SLED, SLED acronym. If you can remember SLED, you can remember these differences. The problem is these differences don't work in the way they ought to. Size is not a good enough place to ground human value. Because if we ground it there and say that the unborn are tiny, therefore they're insignificant, then what we're really saying is that smaller human beings have less of a right to life than larger ones. We've created a value spectrum. The same goes with level of development that says the unborn are less developed. Well, my daughter is less developed than me, but I can't kill her for those reasons. Level of development arguments tend to sound more sophisticated on university campuses. You'll run into things like consciousness, sentience, organized cortical brain activity. These are all level of development arguments, but level of development exists in degrees. So we've created a sliding scale on which some human beings don't matter more than others. And it's not just the unborn, it's children, teenagers, anyone who's less developed than someone else. Environment is where you're located. The unborn are inside the mother, we're outside, a difference of less than 10 inches. If it's that brings you into valuable humanity, then by the same reasoning, less than a foot of a change in location could take you out of valuable humanity. And degree of dependency, the unborn are dependent on their mothers for survival, but diabetics are dependent upon medication for survival, like my own mom. Anyone who is on dialysis for kidney treatment is dependent on that treatment for survival. We can't kill those human beings for that reason. Neither can we kill smaller, less developed, located in different place human beings for that reason. So what happens is instrumental answers create gross inequality. And when you're talking about there being some kind of difference between a human being, a mere human being, and a valuable person, then we're talking about an instrumental difference. It just doesn't work. Intrinsic value, philosophically speaking, is the only grounding place for true human equality.